Alrighty, it's Wednesday, the calm before the impending snowstorm, Dan. So welcome to the PA High School Football Report. OSS Health is our tremendous sponsor, and of course, we are powered by Penn Live, the leader in all things sports coverage. All right, Eric Epler alongside Dan Sostek. And Dan, we waved goodbye to the college football season, and Dr. Signetti, I think he's earned that title. We call him Dr. Signetti now. And his Indiana Hoosiers to have done it 16-0. And the Natty, 27-21 over those crazy Michael Irvins, the Miami Hurricanes. What did you think of the game?
I mean, it was a great one. I think the conversation's been super interesting about Indiana and, trying to make it out to be like a Hoosiers type thing. And in some ways it obviously is, right? They were the losingest program in college football history, winning a title in 2 years. But I think at like some point people just kind of had to accept that was a darn good football team that was just like everyone wanted to try to do, it's because they're older. It's all that. It's like I've seen plenty of younger teams beat the snot out of older college football teams. Like it's that you don't just win because you're older at that level. There are a lot of these 18-year-olds can beat a nickelback down the middle of the field. So I'm still, in terms of the next level, I've always been sort of a skeptic of Fernando Mendoza, but it's hard to not be impressed by that kid. And I guess not a kid; he's probably like 25 years old. But
Yeah.
how about Kurt Signetti, man? It goes to show you how many good coaches there are in this country, right? That Kurt Signetti was basically in anonymity for a while, coaching IUP, which is a great football program up in the western part of the state. A lot of our kids end up going there, and frankly, as you can see now, a program like IUP might get you better coaching than a lot of Power 5 places. And I know a lot of people in Western PA were happy, and a lot of people I know IUP was happy as well. So it's been cool to see his kind of this whole, because you never really thought this could happen, like that Indiana could win a national championship in football.
Well, I think in the realm of NIL, yes, if you get a guy like Mark Cuban on board and you get these things happening now, and we talked about the portal and everybody jumping, yeah, it's possible to construct. I don't think there's anything easier about it. I still think you've got to get the right combination of guys, and you have to, do all the right things. But it still was, even up until the Penn State game. I just enjoyed the lead up to this final game, to the national championship game. Just I heard so many talking heads talking about how Indiana didn't play anybody. Like I heard a lot of that, and I'm just like, what planet are you from?
Are you sure you weren't mixing that up with Miami? Because Miami's the one that gets all the crap for
exactly. But Miami's also the one that lost to SMU and Louisville, the two losses.
Yeah.
For them. So I mean, you win at Iowa, you win at number 3 Oregon, you win at Penn State, you win at Ohio State.
Then in the court, was really their toughest game of the year.
Yeah, and then your college football playoffs, you wax Bama and you wax Oregon again. You go 6-0 against top 10 teams, not top 25 teams. You're 6-0 against top 10 teams. Yep. I mean, that's ridiculous. No one in the SEC's done that. I mean, it's unbelievable what Indiana was able to do. And if you had to have a knock on them, the only was on the resume was needing that miracle toe tap.
Yeah.
By Omar Cooper in against Penn State. Yeah. That was it. That was the biggest knock on Indiana, was they almost lost to Penn State, who by the way was ranked second in the country to start the year.
Yeah.
So, it just was crazy to me that at that point, as of Monday, people were still trying to wrap their heads around that this is a fantastic and a great football team.
Yep.
And a great football program.
I would just like to remind everyone that the Pitt Panthers and Pat Narduzzi held Fernando Mendoza to 13 points last year and picked up a big win against Cal. So
listen, if I had a yellow flag, I'd throw it on you right now.
If you really think about it, Pitt kind of won the national championship, and a couple years.
If you put it all together, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Pitt is your national. We'll call them co-national champions.
Yeah. Ignore that they lost by like 45 points to Miami. But yeah, so we'll always have that, I guess, and not a lot else because it's been a weird offseason for my Pitt Panthers. Not
Yeah.
all bad, but you know, I think it's like you said, the new norm of the transfer portal is you find out news that what 10 to 50, 25, 35 kids are leaving, and you think more about that than the kids coming in, and then the kids coming in become the kids that leave, and it's a vicious cycle. So yeah, that's what we're worrying about while Indiana is celebrating championships. Now, when you bring up Mark Cuban, it's like, why can't David Tepper, Pitt grad and owner of the Carolina Panthers, even do like a quarter of that? But that's another story. Or
Well,
even Mark Cuban could help because he went to Pitt for his freshman year. But
Mark Cuban could help all 139 Division One teams pretty
he could
much
probably help every 6 billion people on planet
if he
Earth.
wanted to.
Yeah,
But I'm saying, that you're right. That is possible. And again, maybe it's a relationship thing.
yeah.
Maybe, but now not everybody bought. Obviously, I mean, Penn State flooded a lot of NIL money, and see what happened there. Texas had a huge, NIL deal, and obviously they didn't make it. So, it doesn't always work. I think you do have to have the right guy at the top, and Signetti has obviously proven himself to just be an absolute beast when it comes to all things a program needs to win a title.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I just didn't see where was their weakness on that football team. I mean, there just wasn't.
They could
It
win a
just seemed
game
like
any possible way, which is
exactly. It just seemed like every part worked. Everybody did their job. 11 hats to football, whatever you want to use. They had it in spades. They really did. It was a fantastic thing. You asked me before the show if I had any interaction with Signetti. I had one interaction with Signetti when he was at IUP. I don't know. I want to say it was like 2012 or 2013, somewhere in that range, where we did a story on him. But I enjoyed all the guys around that program and around Pittsburgh area who were telling stories during the week. And it was great hearing, like, when Signetti was at IUP, how his assistant coaches, who have been so loyal to him and obviously have gone with him to different spots, how his assistant coaches were basically trying to get by on like $6,000. They were actually using food stamps, and they were taking the occasional odd jobs, like moving furniture out of abandoned homes or buildings to make extra money. And then, and all they do is go 53-17 over whatever 6-7 years before he hightails it to Elon and eventually to James Madison.
and now it's not just going to be it's going to be all levels. Everyone's going to be like looking for the way after when Belichick started having all that success, coaches got a little gruffer, and then when Sean McVay started having success, coaches would be upbeat and everyone's going to try to do the Kurt Signetti dry sense of humor stuff now and try to. I thought this also probably applies to kind of high school stuff too, but I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was a really smart quote by Signetti. I heard him talking about one of the secrets of his success and why he keeps his entire staff with him is he says that he doesn't work them crazy hours. He says, he basically says he doesn't believe in this notion that coaches have to be in the office till 4 a.m. grinding. He says his point is that why not just work really hard when you are working and get all the work done and have time to recharge and everything. He doesn't practice as much as other coaches do. A lot more walkthroughs, it sounds like. A lot of stuff that just seems common sense, but, in football, you kind of want to do – it's a lot of – it's that macho show almost. It's like you want to show you're working harder and things like that. But I don't think Kurt Signetti really has – it doesn't seem like he's got a kind of a phony bone in his body. I think he doesn't really care what anyone thinks about him, and I think that's why people like him.
Yeah, and I remember I said that too. Like, you always heard about Saban and these guys always has a couch in his office so he can sleep. He's always there. And I'm just like, what are you using your other 25 assistant coaches for?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with those guys? And I think Signetti puts so much faith and so much responsibility on those guys, and that's what they're there for. That's what they're supposed to do. And it just again, I'm not saying Saban's a bad coach, but I'm just saying I would hear that all the time, and you're just like, that's not right. That's not how it happens. So anyway, congratulations, Indiana. We did have one PA guy on the Hoosiers, Mario Landino, the sophomore defensive lineman, Emmaus product. So congrats to him, and congrats to David Blade Jr. too, senior defensive lineman for the Hurricanes. He's from Harry S. Truman.
And
So we do have
also Indiana offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan, Norwin High School grad. So
Right.
from Norwin High School grad, I imagine he's not going to be an offensive coordinator for much longer.
Probably not.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to be that brain drain once you start winning, right? So,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
another thing about Kurt Cincinnati, he really liked attacking Pennsylvania for recruits when he was at James Madison. They continued it under Bob Chesney. I believe both Riley Robel and Chase Reagan were recruited by Cignetti, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I think that timeline matches up. So, I wouldn't be shocked if some of the top PA football players start making their way towards Bloomington.
Bloomington, yeah, for sure. Well, just an outstanding season for Indiana. It was a great game to watch, and Mendoza is a freak of nature, really, and what he put down on the field, man. It was fun to watch that squad. I liked watching their defense. I thought their defense was unbelievable. It just seemed like it never seemed like anyone was out of position. I know they got caught for that one play and they missed tackle there with the big run. But it just seemed like they were all doing their jobs, and that was impressive to see. So 27-21 win for Indiana. Good for them. All right, speaking of coaches, Dan, we wanted to mention this too because it has something because it ties into the upcoming Big 33, which of course is on Memorial Day weekend. Many of the big name coaches in the state are set to converge on Camp Hill next month for the Pennsylvania State Football Coaches Association annual clinic. Whew, that's a mouthful. Keynote speaker is Nebraska head coach Matt Rule. He will be in town. Remember last time we saw a Matt Rule sighting? He texted a picture while driving across the 83 bridge there, like he was coming in to lasso a couple of our more talented football players. But others scheduled to attend the clinic, Penn State's Matt Campbell. Terry Smith is going to be here as well. Your boy in Pitt's, Pat Narduzzi, was supposed to be here. I don't know if it's a definite yet because I hear he had a procedure recently that may prevent him from
even getting injured during the offseason. That sounds about right.
Well, he goes at it. He's aggressive. Yeah. So hopefully we get to see him. It'd be nice to talk to Coach Narduzzi. Just even for a little while if we could. So Casey Kiefer of Temple is going to be here as well as like 20, 30 other college coaches from the D2, D3, FCS ranks will be here in Camp Hill, as well as all the high school coaches who are PSFCA members from around the Commonwealth. I'm told it is at this time that the Big 33 team will be unveiled toward the end of the clinic. So that's something certainly to look forward to. And, of course, we'll bring you all the news, and we hope to wiggle in there and maybe get a little time talking to these coaches, too, about Pennsylvania football, about where their program stands. And who knows, maybe Dr. Cignetti will make a drop in, if he's got the time. What I also liked is every time he said, I'm going to have a beer, he had a beer that was from a brewery in Bloomington.
Yeah, I read. I couldn't tell if this was one of those. Twitter's now filled with these fake quotes and everything. But
of course,
someone said that they went to a brewery with him and that he ordered things by their alcoholic beverage, their percentage of alcohol in them. So he just say, "Give me the 8%." Didn't read what they were called or anything. I don't know if it's true or not, but I choose to believe it's true. So.
Well, that reminds me of a story. One trip to the Bahamas. I can't tell you all the details of that trip, but we were at a beachside bar, and their beer is called Kalik, Kalik, and we were drinking those for a little while, and then the one bartender comes, there's a double strength Kalik. I'm like, really? Why are you hiding that behind the bar? So they brought that out. So it's sort of like that. You give me the good stuff.
Was it good?
Give me the double leaded. Yeah, absolutely.
Was it good?
So yeah, so we think of a couple guys too that just made their commitments. We're sticking on the college train. Dan, you got a short list of guys just in the last maybe 7-10 days who made their commitments from around the state.
Yeah, I mean, I think the highlight is and not they're all highlights because it's a big
Yeah.
moment for a lot of these kids' lives. But um, uh, the highlight in terms of our award winner for Offense Player of the Year, Torrin Evans, he committed to Kutztown University. We've continuously said about Torrin, right, that wherever he ends up is going to probably just be the right place for him because I think he's a guy that kind of makes his surroundings the right place for him. I'm excited. I think that's a good level for him, and uh, I think he's going to tear it up there. And you don't want to say stepping stone because Kutztown's a damn good program that's put people in the NFL like Craig Reynolds. So,
Yep.
but there's other people. Hussein Al Tharfi, the offensive lineman for Harrisburg, is committed to West Liberty University. We've also got Matteo Cangilosi, the defensive end for Lower Dauphin, who committed to Elon, which is ironically another Kurt Signetti stop. So we'll
Mhm.
definitely get a couple more. I believe I'm probably missing a couple, but this is the time of year where the kids that you kind of aren't focused on their recruitment process as much end up finding their future home. So exciting times.
Yeah, great spot for Torn. Obviously, Kutztown had a tremendous season this year. I believe quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. I think
That sounds
Division
right.
two quarterfinals. I think it's either yeah. I don't think it was semis, but I think it was quarterfinals. But tremendous year for Kutztown. Elon's a great spot for Cangelosi. Obviously, Farsfield is really really a strong product there in Harrisburg for a couple of years, and great spot for him at West Liberty. So we traditionally write about all of these guys. So if you haven't seen them on Penn Live yet, you will see them in the coming days. We're also trying to pursue a couple other guys who we just have been playing phone tag with because they are on the move as well. So we'll bring you all that stuff, and we'll have all these guys' commitments and little vignettes. We call them recruiting vignettes on these guys and their decision and what they're looking forward to most and what they learned during the last couple of years on the field and all those good stuff. So it's an important decision, obviously, for all these guys, and obviously we can't applaud them enough for making those choices. And it's not easy. I don't know how scary it was for you, Dan, making your college decision, but I know I had a tough time on mine, trying to figure out where I wanted to go. It's not always easy, especially when you're a few hours from home or things like that. You worry about things that maybe never come to fruition, but it is obviously a life changing and life altering decision. So it's just great for these guys to make it. How difficult was it for you, Dan?
I was decided. Basically, I was going to either go to Pitt or go to Northwestern, and I just waited on my early decision to get rejected from Northwestern, and then I said I'm going to Pitt. So it was pretty simple for me because I thought for me it was just like a state school that didn't feel like a state school because I had never been to Pittsburgh before. So I was like, I got to get a little out of my hometown. But I know that especially for football because you're not just dealing with um, you're not just dealing with everything a regular college student is dealing with in terms of all that pressure. You're dealing with so much stuff that has to do with your future and your career, and you have to put a lot more trust into individuals in this process than most college kids do. So it's definitely a tough decision.
Yeah, the best thing I can explain it to parents who ask me about these things, and I always say, you know what, the best thing about being an athlete and going to school to play a sport is when you show up on campus, you have 25, 35, 45 immediate friends who are all in the same boat. They come from different walks of life and different nationalities and things like that, but you walk in right away and you got 45 guys in the same boat as you. So you have people you can talk to right away, relate to, eat lunch with, go to practice with, and it makes it that much easier to kind of settle in, at a new destination. I know when I wound up in Alabama, I pulled in, and the guy I parked next to in the parking lot before I started moving my crap into my dorm was from Chicago, and to this day he's a lifelong friend. And every time I'm in Chicago, I call him up. Boom, hey, let's go out. You know what I mean? Even though I haven't seen him for years and years and years, so that makes a difference. It makes a big difference for these guys. So that's the positive part about it. It makes those first couple of weeks that much easier. It's not easy because you're hunkered down playing football, so you got to go after it. But it does make it easier, as far as campus life and things like that. So good luck to those guys. All right, Dan, we were talking earlier about the Big 33, and I wanted to kind of throw out some names of guys we might see. And again, this process is interesting how it's done. And as most know, Maryland is our rival in this now. They're our competitor. Have been for, oh boy, I want to say at least 2013, maybe something like that. So it's been more than 10 years that Maryland's been across the field from PA in the Big 33. So, and their process is different. They do an invitation, they do a camp, and the Baltimore Ravens graciously give them their practice facilities to do the final one. The second camp would be by invitation only, and then that's how they select their teams. Pennsylvania does things a bit differently. Is they basically acquire film on all the guys that have been nominated through coaches and other means, and they break off into groups of like 20 coaches to look at quarterbacks. The next set of 20 coaches will look at running backs, and they'll look at film on all the running backs who've been nominated. It could be upwards of 50 to 60 players when it comes to linemen and things like that. Maybe a little less in your skill position players. And then they basically rank those players 1 through 50 on where they think they should go. And your top 2, those are your quarterbacks. Then you make phone calls. Are you available? Let's say Gavin Sidwar, the outstanding quarterback going to Missouri from LaSalle. Well, he's already there. He's enrolled early, so obviously he's off the list. So they'll call the number 2 and they'll call the number 3 until they get down to 2 guys who commit to those positions. So as you know, Dan, you explained that most of our bigger recruits, the higher end recruits, go. And why do they go, Dan? Tell the people why they go.
Well, they go because the way college football is designed now is that you need to be in spring practice if you want to have any chance of contributing that season. And especially if you're a quarterback or something like that, it's just crucial to kind of have those reps with your teammates at that time. It really just, if you miss those practices, you're not gonna contribute. So Sean Lee went early. That was because he was in prep school already. Stone Saunders went early. This year, almost all of our big recruits from our area are leaving early. It's just the way college football works right now.
Yeah, so Sidwar obviously is probably not an option. Now we do. I'm looking at quarterback guys, and I just went through 6A and 5A and looked at a couple of guys. But I think you could see a guy like Brooklyn Nace. He is playing basketball at Central York right now. He's an Old Dominion recruit, and obviously still sticking around. So maybe a guy like Brooklyn Nace would be in the mix for one of these, quarterback positions for PA. I think you'd love to have a guy like Samaj Beals. You'd love to have a guy like Nolan DeLucia, from Peters Township. Samaj Beals being from Roman Catholic. That's an Akron recruit and a Villanova recruit. I don't know for sure if both are enrolled early. I'm not quite sure. But an interesting one that I thought was Trey Wingert, the quarterback out of Du Bois, because he's a baseball recruit. He's committed to play at Delaware, or he's signed to play at Delaware, and it's a good sized kid at 6'2", like 220ish. Can run a little bit. And that might be an interesting spot for a guy like him, who's been really good for the past couple of years. But again, some of these guys are going to be already out of the picture and gone. Anybody running backs wise, Dan, or any other position that you see like maybe hopefuls to make this squad?
Well, I mean, I think Sean Steckert pretty clearly played his way into. He's a senior, correct?
Yeah,
Played his way into earning consideration. Um, yeah, I mean, it's really tough, right? Because every year it feels like the availability is less and less, and there's some last minute replacements. But yeah, that would be the one, especially if we're talking running backs. That would be the first person that caught my eye.
yeah. And if for those who don't know, being that the games at Cumberland Valley, these things do happen sometimes days before. A guy has to bow out, an injury or things like that. So you do get traditionally a few, maybe one to two local, quote unquote local, maybe District 3 guys, because it's just more convenient. These are guys that were ranked on the list, but maybe they weren't in the top 5 or 6 if you're an offensive lineman, or top 4 or 5 if you're defensive lineman. But guys who are definitely, worthy of being selected for the game, and they're local. So they can get their equipment quickly. They can get in and kind of get up to speed. Sometimes I remember a few years ago, Steel High's Andrew Irby Jr. was literally voted, called, and within days. I think it was Thursday, and the game was Sunday, and he was added to the roster because a lineman had bowed out. So those things do happen. So you don't know if a guy like Nazir Jones Davis, the running back from McDevitt, Eastern Michigan recruit, Shavane Anderson, obviously York High's a Syracuse recruit. Again, I'm not sure if these guys are gone early yet, but they might be somebody to look at as running backs. I think 2 interesting picks at wide receiver, and I'm not sure that these 2 are committed yet, or have gone yet. But the two sidecars at Roman Catholic, Ash Roberts and Ian Steed, both obviously tremendous athletes. I'm not sure. I think both do have offers, but I'm not sure if both have signed yet.
No, I don't think they have.
Or have selected, but obviously guys like Joey O'Brien are gone. Elias Koch is obviously off to Rutgers. I believe Brendan Smith is still around. He's a Kent State recruit. So there's some really interesting guys at wide receiver. Tight end, I think Shanafeld is gone to Stanford. But Central York's Colin Gorley is still here. He had a tremendous year, and it would be a good pickup. He's a Villanova recruit. And just some other guys, Dan, that you may have noticed. Any other position?
I mean, offensive line, you're always going to be able to find a couple kids. I am not sure if Yendor Mack's going early or not, but Susquehanna Township kids have always been kids that traditionally
Right.
the Big 33 has looked towards. So yeah, you got guys like him. I imagine I would like to see a guy like Scoop Smith get a chance in the Big 33. Just the way Western PA people talk about Scoop Smith.
Yeah.
I think he's earned it. It's not even. I guess he's obviously going to play college football at Miami of Ohio, so he could end up skipping it as well. But those are a couple guys. Deontay Sheffy is a guy that he's a Penn State commit now, but he could end up there. I think Jimmy Dwyer is still at Mechanicsburg. That could be another guy that would have a chance. So, there's plenty of seniors that are going to be able to commit. Maddox Jarzynski could be. He was one of the best wide receivers in the area. I know obviously they're going to lean towards the 6A stuff. Luca Neal. But yeah, they'll find guys. So they'll find guys and hopefully keep that Super Bowl streak alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, an interesting guy to me too is Noah Ewell.
Yeah,
for Harrisburg. Obviously, being a senior and not committed yet. Linebacker could be an interesting position, and another similar guy like Wingert would be Hunter Strom. Would Hunter Strom consider playing in the Big 33? Now, I know it's in the tail end of the baseball season, but he's a Mississippi State recruit. Has he, going to line it up for one more year here for Lower Dolphin in the spring? That would be interesting to see if he would actually consider. I think he actually would consider playing it, knowing him and knowing how much he likes to hit. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one. And obviously, I think James Franklin has his two linebacker recruits probably already down there, and J.P. Oates from LaSalle, and Terry Wiggins from Coatesville. I'm sure they're already in Blacksburg by now. But yeah, that'll be interesting. Ewell is an interesting one to me. I think Jaion Lewis is another interesting one from Harrisburg.
Mm-hmm.
Being that you could line him up in several different spots, you need a couple guys like that. And even a guy like Quinlan Shear, who's shown his versatility from Redland.
Yeah.
Tough kid, good size, all those things, man. They play pretty
He's
well.
having a good basketball season too.
Yep.
So
They play pretty well when you talk about Big 33 football. So what else we got going here? It's interesting. I found this out. Damn interesting. Don Bosco Prep's coming to Roman Catholic September 4th.
yeah, I think I saw that. So
Yeah.
I mean, we've had Coach Preet on the podcast. That doesn't surprise me at all. It seems like if you're talking about a team that doesn't duck any sort of challenges, that's Roman Catholic. He wants the best of the best. So
that's an interesting matchup for sure. And a week earlier, Pine Richland goes out to Ohio to play Avon, which would be a good matchup as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, two good squads, obviously championship caliber squads playing a little interstate action, and there's going to be more of those too, obviously. But as of right now, being January 21st, a lot of schedules not set in stone yet. So we look forward to that. So we'll bring you those as they pop up. Again, check out Penn Live every day if you can. We'll have these recruiting guys who are jumped in the portal and where their new landing spots are, and of course, guys in high school who are still committing and picking their next destination. We'll have stories on those guys, and as we approach this coach's clinic, we'll have more stories involved Big 33, and of course the unveil, which will come I think at the end of the second week of February, somewhere around there. So we'll be good to go.
Yep.
Other than that, Dan, I appreciate your time as always. Obviously, thanks to our producer Megan, and yeah, go Indiana. I might have to go out and buy a Hoosiers lid.
It's a pretty good logo. Pretty good logo. Pretty good colors.
Jump on the bandwagon, or get a hold of some of that brewery beer that Signetti likes.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'll share it with you, Dan, and Megan. I'll get you one too.
Yeah, fun meeting that day will be.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have a good time. Yeah, in the conference room. All right, folks, that'll do it for this edition of the PA High School Football Report for Dan Sostek and Megan Levy. And I am Eric Epler. Obviously, join us next week. Thanks.